Budha Mercury rules exchanges, trading, and finer accounting matters. On Wednesday, February 15th, Uniswap announced an estimated date for its V4 launch, saying it would happen in Q3 of this year. That's because the Ethereum Dencun upgrade is now scheduled for March 13th, and that upgrade contains EIP 1153, which will enable much more ways of deploying hooks on Uniswap v4, which are innovative smart contracts that will, as put by Ignis DeFi Research in a super interesting tweet, allow Uniswap v4 to function more like a platform than like a protocol. Because of the flexibility in deployment of hooks, which facilitate all types of DeFi activities of protocols external to Uniswap within Uniswap itself, v4 can put Uniswap in a new, more monopolistic role as it draws in liquidity from projects all over DeFi. Amazingly, I wrote about the Ethereum side of this, the Dencun upgrade, in my book Ethereum by 2026, available on ShiningBull.com, which I published back in 2022. I said that in the second half of March 2024, ETH price would start climbing, and that this is related to an improvement made to the Ethereum platform by its devs. The scheduled date for Dencun is just 3 days after Ethereum begins a new Pratyantardasha of Venus, which I also mentioned in the book, Ethereum by 2026, available on ShiningBull.com. As for Uniswap, their V4 announcement was made right as Moon transited in Aries in Kendra to Budha Mercury, who transited in the Cancer Pada of Shravana Nakshatra. That location of the sky is related with both mass communication and with providing a shelter for many. If you imagine the owner of a hostel who facilitates conversations between all kinds of people in a safe place, or an important person who facilitates important conversations inside their comfortable office, this is what that Cancer Pada of Shravana is like. Shravana is a peculiar nakshatra. It's quite unusual, and it's linked to a story about how monopolies happen before anyone realizes it has happened. That's because the divine story of this nakshatra is about Lord Vishnu playing a trick on the demon king Bali at his yagya or fire ceremony. He pretended to be a young Brahmin boy and asked if he could have the land that he could cover in 3 steps. Bali said sure, as it didn't seem like a big deal, and because the rules of the yagya meant that he couldn't refuse the request of a Brahmin. Vamana, the boy, suddenly became Vishnu and took ownership with his 3 steps of all of creation. So it's definitely interesting that Uniswap v4, which will act as a type of shelter to all kinds of DeFi protocols to function within it, benefiting from its liquidity, was announced while Moon transited Mercury, as Mercury transited in the Cancer Pada of Shravana. This was the Mercury Crypto Podcast.